still a long way for her to go.
Kornacki,
But they
Steve Kornacki, I just have to jump in. And you've been predicting this. We've been waiting for it. And we do have some breaking news from the decision desk. NBC News can now project that Donald Trump has won the state of Wisconsin, which means he is the winner of this race and will return to the White House as this country's 47th president. And for so many of you watching right now, that news is, to say the least, a lot to digest. I understand that personally. After he lost 4 years ago, he refused to accept the outcome and incited a violent insurrection on our nation's capital. He's campaigned while facing criminal indictments related to his efforts to overturn the 2020 results, and he's run as a convicted felon. During this campaign, he has also promised to essentially be an authoritarian leader, to use power like no American president ever has before, and wield that power to go after his political enemies. This is a man who's also bragged about overturning Roe v. Wade and stripping away women's bodily autonomy. He's promised to conduct mass deportations to crack down on the rights of millions of Americans. Donald Trump is an anti-democratic force, but he's just been elected democratically in our country. And here's what might be the hardest part to hear, but we have to talk about and we have to say, and it is a hard part to digest for all of us. But we have to be honest about what we saw in this election. Donald Trump was elected by expanding his support over a number of key groups that we've been digging into this night, all night tonight, as we anticipated where this was headed. And I know we're going to dig into it throughout the course of the day today. And there will be a lot of time spent on how and why he won and what this will mean for the country over the next 4 years and beyond.
What? All right. I digested it fine. It was like baby's milk to me. It was actually Christmas come early. But the lies in that rant are insane. The way these people cover the news is exactly why they may be going out of business. Folks, so much to talk about. Coming up next. Hello. What is up? It is Monday and it's time for Pop and Politics. I'm KJ. Let me introduce you to my co-host. Of course, back with us tonight, as always, every Monday night, is Tyrone Keys of Soldiers of Finance right here on YouTube. And we have Shelly E. All right. As I always say, like, share, and subscribe to our channel. We're here on YouTube and Rumble. You can listen to us on Apple Podcasts or Spotify under the name Pop and Politics. We love our chat. I can see you guys are already chatting. I see we got some super chats already. I'm going to shout you out in just a moment, but the super chats are the best way to get your voice heard in the conversation and to show us love for conservative content. Folks, this is not just a podcast. This is a movement of God-fearing, truth-seeking, America-loving people that value freedom. Stand with us. Subscribe so we can amplify this rallying call for freedom. All right, everybody, let's set it off. So before we get into the news, because it's a lot to cover, I want to start off with you guys and ask you, what did you think about that MSNBC sort of breakdown? This is when they announced, of course, that Trump had won, and that was Jen Psaki. I mean, she was too fit to be tied. Shelly, what do you think?
I think she probably needed to be on a morphine drip for a little while. The mental, emotional pain, disbelief, it just went against all that they thought and believed would come to pass. So I think she needed to rest a little bit, at least.
Yeah. Tyrone, what do you think of that?
Yeah, Shelly's right. I mean, what you heard in her voice was just the frustration of knowing that the legal persecution didn't work. Trying to take his money didn't work. Trying to take him out didn't work. And now he's president. You may have also heard a little frustration about maybe we helped him. Mm-hmm. Maybe we made him a sympathetic character and helped him get back to the White House.
Oh, yeah. Well, rants like the one that she just did. And it looks like MSNBC is on the ropes. And it's about time. Thanks to people like you, patriots who love America and stand for truth. We're making a difference. And together we've turned them off, called out their lies and their propaganda, and held them accountable for their disdain for people like us, God-fearing, freedom-loving Americans like me, like Tyrone, like Shelley, and you all. But we can't stop here. You know, this fight is bigger than turning off the TV. It's about time we take action with our dollars. You know, for 2 years, I stopped shopping at Target because of their harmful agenda in the kids section. So, you know, why should we support companies that mock our values? Instead, we should uplift individuals and businesses that align with our love of family, freedom, and America. Folks, a new year is coming and it's time to rise up. Let's make 2024 the year we double down on our commitment to values-driven choices. When we lock arms and stand together, we're unstoppable. Vote your dollars, support Made in America, back companies that honor our families, faith, and country. And guess what? We found an exciting way to make this switch, and we want you to join us. Check out popandswitch.com and click, yes, I want to make the switch. It's time to walk away from corporations like BlackRock and Vanguard that undermine our principles. Let's invest in America. Let's support businesses that share our love for our country. I mean, you don't have to take on everything at once, but you can start with just a little bit. And this is a great way to start. This is what I've been doing, Shelley. This is what we've been doing. Join us in making this one small yet powerful step. Visit popandswitch.com, click the link, and schedule a call with our team to learn how you can make the switch. Together, you know, we can create real change. Let's stand up for America. Let's stand up for freedom. Let's make our dollars matter. And this is what we're doing here. So I hope you guys do it. Again, it's visit popandswitch.com and you can get more information there. Now, let's get on to the good stuff. Before I do, I want to acknowledge our super chatters. All right, we have Kung Fu CJ with the $2 super chat. He says here, they can't lie to us anymore. They hate it. Right. Exactly. I think he had another one saying, hello, ladies. Yes. Hello. Hello.
Hi, Kung Fu.
All right. So I want you guys to take a look. This is what we're talking about. MSNBC is toast. This is a clip of Bill O'Reilly talking about how they're all on the chopping block and they're shaking in their boots. This is clip number 5.
Comcast said, you two, we're going to have to try to mend some cliche fences, and you two are going to go in there and you're going to try to tamp it down. Because Comcast knew the next day they were going to announce that MSNBC is vapor. That is a huge meteor story.
Why is
Enormous.
it vapor? Just because they're spinning it off and putting them in they're spinning off a bunch of brands.
There's no spin-off.
There is. It's a spin-off company.
There's no spin-off. See, you buy the propaganda, Cuomo.
Oh, okay.
See what I mean about
I'm just saying
people?
what's being reported.
All right.
But what do you know?
Yeah, I know, but why would you believe what's being reported? You want the real story? Here
Yes,
it comes.
please.
So they're uncoupling their word, Comcast, MSNBC from NBC News. That means MSNBC has no resources at all. None. They're not going to be able to pay these people millions of dollars, Rachel Maddow, whatever she's making. NBC News is saying, we don't want you around. Why? Because NBC News' numbers, Lester Holt and the Today Show, are catastrophe because half the country equates NBC News with MSNBC and they won't watch. So NBC is desperately trying to save the mothership of information, and they have to throw MSNBC overboard. They're not putting anything into MSNBC. They want to sell it. So where's Georgie Soros now? Georgie's buying radio stations. You can get MSNBC for nothing. They'll give it to you. They don't want any more of this. Why? Because it's hateful. Not because it's so far left. The whole NBC Comcast hierarchy is far left. But it's hateful. They hate Trump. They hate people who vote for Trump. Everybody knows that. And you know what's next? The View. ABC News is going to have to cut ties with The View. And you saw that today or yesterday when Sonny Hostin had to read a legal statement in the middle of a segment. The lawyers got Whoopi Goldberg's ear and it said, we're bringing a statement in on a teleprompter. She reads it. So it is over for these far left networks. Done, never coming back. Dracula's stake in the heart. Who benefits? News Nation may, but CNN, which is on the ropes too, will probably get some MSNBC viewers.
Wow.
There you go.
What do you think of that? Well, I'm certainly not going to accuse him of not making sense.
Tyrone, what are your thoughts there? You think it's true?
Oh, yeah, it is definitely true. And one of the things that he said, which really encapsulated it all, it's hateful. Okay. I think a lot of people, I have an aunt and an uncle who come downstairs in the morning and turn MSNBC on, and it plays all day long. And it is going into their brains. And before my mother passed away, we told them, this crap is changing, y'all. Okay. We don't even feel comfortable in this house because of this MSNBC. Y'all got to turn this crap off. So it's been like that for many years. We all know that Joy Reid, she sits up there with a scowl on her face, as does Sonny Holston and the cast of The View. Peter Jennings and Walter Cronkite, they never did anything. They might have been leftist, but they never were like this. Okay. So he's absolutely right. I love every minute of it. You know what I also love? I love the fact, and this is going to sound cruel, and I'm going to have to deal with this when I stand before the pearly gates. I know it. But I love the fact that Mika and Joe share an income from the same show that is in danger. And now they're going to be looking at that chuck roast like $7.99 a pound. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I love it.
Shelly, what are your thoughts here? You think this is a good thing?
So I think it's a good thing if the company, Comcast, whomever, ABC, if they quote unquote spin it off on Uncouple. Let me say this: what I don't like or support is people just calling for them to be taken off the air. I don't like that. I'm a free speech person. I don't have to agree with you. I think if we just call them to take them off the air because we don't like what they say, then I don't think that makes us any different than when they do that to us, right? In that sense. However, if Comcast and ABC are, again, spinning off their units, that's fine. Then let them spew their hate, if you will, on their own dime and time, because doing so on Comcast and ABC's dime is losing them some money. So that's not a business model that they can sustain any longer. As for Joe and Mika and even Joy on MSNBC and Al Sharpton, well, he already knows how to grift, so he's going to find another one. So he'll be okay. Joy, this is kind of compared to Al Sharpton, this is new for her. She's going to have to find something where whatever her real talent is, she may need to go and get some skills or retrain so that she can be marketable in the real world. And as for Mika and Joe, I don't know about them, Tyrone, because they surely are groveling, and they might just do well to get some more knee pads. So that's how they're going to keep their income.
KJ,
Okay.
Joy Reid reached out to me. She wants your phone number. I think she wants a spot on politics.
Oh, we love it. I'd love to have her on here so we can eat her lunch every day. Oh, I would love it. But I gotta say, I think I'm glad. I think it's different. I think they need to be taken off. I think people need to call for them to come off. And I'll tell you why. Because we are becoming like propaganda China. You know, our industrial news complex, they are not just giving opinion anymore. They are lying. They are outright lying about news. And they're supposed to be they're supposed to be objective, even if you do have some bias. And I'm not talking about opinion news network. I'm talking about stuff like what 60 Minutes did. I'm talking about even the stuff that Joy and Morning Joe spew. They outright lie, and they're on the news waves. And I believe Trump mentioned it previously, how they don't have to pay for that airtime because they're supposed to be. It's supposed to be mainstream media. It's supposed to be objective. So they're outright lying. They're propagandist tools for the Democrat Party. And I think that they're doing harm to our nation. It's no longer just, fluff, or it's actual harm. Take a look at this. This is where they're actually losing it over being almost about to be taken off the airwaves because people are no longer taking their word. This is clip number 9.
Matters. Everything we do is under fire. Elon Musk sits on Twitter every day, or X today, saying like, we are the media, you are the media. My message to Elon Musk is bullshit. You're not the media. You having a blue check mark, a Twitter handle, and 300 words of cleverness doesn't make you a reporter any more than me looking at your head and seeing that you have a brain and telling you have an awesome set of tools makes me a damn neurosurgeon, right? Like what we do, what journalists do, what you did in Mississippi, what Al Jazeera does in the Middle East. You don't proclaim yourself to be a reporter. Like that's nonsense. Like being a reporter is hard, really hard. You have to care. You have to do the hard work. You have to get up every single day and say, I want to get to the closest approximation of the truth without any fear, without any favoritism. You don't do that by popping off on Twitter. You don't do that by having an opinion. You do it by doing the hard work.
Yeah, come on, slow clap, everybody. Whoa. First of all, I've got to say, extraordinary content. It needed to be said.
Yeah.
It continues to need to be said. When all of the garbage is flying around on social media, lying about reporters, lying about the hard work they do, lying about the hard work editors do, lying about everything up and down about not only their alternative set of facts, but alternative set of facts about what people like you do.
Oh, yeah. Right. Whatever. So that was co-founder of Axios. Again, as you can see, he was ranting about billionaire Elon Musk and his comments recently. His name is Jim Van High, I believe, where Elon said on Twitter, that, they're the real media. I think he said something like that, and this set this guy off. What are your thoughts?
That's why I don't want them taken off just because people agree with them, or even for their hateful comments, so to speak. I want them to fail in the market, and the grassroots journalists, if you will, social media, podcasts, we collectively are showing them up. We are beating them in the market, if you will, with way less resources. So I don't want that. And secondly, I don't want even a conservative echo chamber, so to speak. I don't want to just hear conservatives repeating, because guess what? As soon as a conservative says something that another one doesn't like, we're going to call for them too. So no, I'd rather compete in the marketplace. Now, again, the company can break up however they want. It's their company. But just to say, I don't want you on because you're hateful, we do best, I think, in my never to be humble opinion, we do best when we meet them with showing them up, if you will, in their own craft. And many of us we didn't start out as professional journalists.
Yeah, but you gotta understand, this is the thing. We're not beating them. We are beating them many times, but it's not the same marketplace. They are a national press club. This is a national.
That's why their ratings have gone down.
This is nationalized media. I mean,
that's why their ratings have gone down.
Go ahead.
That's why their ratings have gone down. You're right. It's not the same.
It is. Yeah. I would agree with you if this wasn't a national media, if this wasn't something that what they call the fourth estate part of the country. You know, they have these people just spewing out lies. I mean, blatant lies. And this is on constantly on national networks. If they get rid of that and let's say have it all online on YouTube or whatever, then I'll be fine. Let them say whatever they want to say. Nobody is calling for people to be censored on YouTube or Twitter.
Oh, it will come. Yes, they have.
By the on a national network and are able to spew propaganda, and we are one step away from becoming China.
People have been censored. People have been censored on YouTube.
Well, I think that his rant was probably very similar to the emotional outburst that whoever was the CEO of Yellow Cab had in New York when Uber came into the marketplace. Okay. And more ideas, more choice is better. He's a gatekeeper, or he fashions himself as a gatekeeper. And if you listen to Joe Scarborough after, you know, when he started to talk, he goes on, he's speaking not to the audience, he's speaking to the media. Okay. This is a desperate attempt to salvage something that at this point is unsalvageable. Okay. It may have been if YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, X weren't out there. Okay. But at this point, there's too much alternative media out there. These guys are old. They're dinosaurs. They don't get it. And look at the left. The left is like, hey, we sat around all this time and we're told first Joe Biden had it in the bag. And then we had George Clooney, of all people, who isn't even a great actor, come out and he knocked Biden out. Then they said, don't worry about it, left. She's got it. She's leading. She's even leading in Iowa. Okay. We got it. Nobody trusts them anymore.
No. And we shouldn't.
Right.
We shouldn't. They need to their press badges need to be revoked. And if we went to a model where everyone is on like this YouTube, Twitter, I'm not calling for the people to get rid of Young Turks. You know, but the idea that we have a national media that is put up on a pedestal, that is pushed out to the masses and get free airways to do it. We can't do what they do. I think that is what needs to be removed because they are no longer objective. And they're actually lying. They're lying.
Okay, we disagree, but okay.
About what they said about Biden. We were out here, independent people like us on YouTube talking about how Biden was senile. You know, he was out in the, he was, you know, dealing with different mental health issues and things. We were all calling it out. We were posting the video. Then you had them on 60 Minutes, on CNN, Karine Jean-Pierre, all of them saying there was nothing there. We were losing it. You know, sweet face. That's just one thing they lied about. Just the thing in her rant, she's talking about how President Trump was calling for a national ban on abortion and things like that. It was a lie.
And we still came through.
We did. I want to acknowledge our super chatters here, guys. Thanks so much. What do you think? You guys, I want you guys to post in the chat. Do you believe that they need to get rid of MSNBC or free market and keep them on and let's just pounce them in the ratings? All right. So yeah, comment there. Get rid of them or keep them. We have Ren Button with the $20 super chat. Says MSNBC is junk food media. Just as fast food makes a body unhealthy, junk food media makes an unhealthy mind and negatively affects the spirit. Love getting my healthy dose of media right here with y'all. Thank you so much, Ren. Thank you, guys. Keep those super chats coming. We certainly appreciate it. And it does help us to push out conservative content. All right.
Real quick, KJ, keeping with the taxi cab metaphor, Penn Station, Baltimore. When I used to pick my wife up from Penn Station, yellow cab lined up literally around the block. Okay. Better products in town. You can't find one down there now. Okay. So what's going to happen is the marketplace is going to get rid of legacy media as we've known it. No one's going to have to shut their First Amendment rights down. The marketplace is going to deal with them.
Yeah. You guys are probably right. Speaking of this crap media, I want you guys to take a look at this next clip. This is Joy Reid. We have holiday time coming up, folks. Thanksgiving is just a couple of days away. Christmas is right around the corner. This is a time where people deal with a lot of mental health issues. You know, you see suicide, or I shouldn't say that, unaliving going up, and all sorts of things. People have passed on during this time. It's just a very emotional time. And listen to this nasty, nasty woman. And we did a montage because she's actually morphing into Jeffrey Marsh. You guys, are you familiar with him? He's the guy, the trans guy that was talking to young kids. He was always, aiming for young kids. It's really creepy. Take a look. This is clip 1.
People are rightfully alarmed. They have a reason to be alarmed. And if you would vote for that, people may not feel so confident that they're safe with you. This is not crazy. This is legitimate feelings of fear of you, and a feeling that you might not be someone they could trust. If this thing goes way south, autocracies go south real fast, and things get ugly, and people get asked to do things and turn people in and point people out and turn on them. And if you're voting affirmatively, gleefully for this, people may not feel so confident in you anymore. That's real, and you kind of have to live with it. So if you think that you can vote for what people see as their destruction and then demand that they still are cool with you and kiki with you and have Thanksgiving with you, I think you're kind of missing the point of what people are upset about. They're afraid. And autocracy and fascism are things that are legitimate to be afraid of. So you may want to step back.
You don't have to be around those awful people. I know you committed to go to Thanksgiving, but you can say no. You can say not this year. You can say never again. You can say it is not worth it. You don't have to be around those awful people. You deserve so much better.
This is sick.
It is. It's creepy as hell. Yeah.
And they talking, they're lying. Shelly, what are your thoughts here?
What was that movie with Jim Carrey, and he was going through all those different caricatures, and he got scarier? I think that's what it was. I think that's what it was.
The cable guy?
He got scared. Maybe it was that. I know it's a Jim Carrey movie, but Joy Reid, I really believe that she is having a psychotic break. I do. Jeffrey Marsh, he's kind of always like that. I don't know if he's acting or what. I mean, I know
he's not acting. He's not acting.
No, I know he thinks he's a woman in that sense, but I really do think Joy Reid has had a psychotic break. And my best recommendation for her would be to find the nearest psych ward and check herself in for at least a 3-day evaluation. I really think she is going to maybe hurt herself. And so maybe it's good that she's not around people on Thanksgiving, because I don't want any innocent people getting hurt by her. They are literally, this is Trump derangement syndrome, literally going to psychosis.
Yeah. Tyrone, Soldiers of Finance. What are your thoughts?
Yeah. Your physical and mental health are your number one assets. Okay. And all jokes aside, I'm with Shelly. I think this lady should maybe take some time off, seriously, and just decompress. Wherever you go on vacation somewhere, don't turn on any devices, unplug, because every little TikTok video she does or whatever, Instagram or whatever, it just seems like she's descending into madness. Okay. It's really, I would think that MSNBC would say, hey, let's get some EAP down to her or give her a vacation for a week or two, you know, let her decompress. This is not healthy at all.
Well, the thing about it is that's really alarming is she is being encouraged. Like there are large groups of people that cheer her on. They cheer her, people like her on, because she's not the only one. They cheer her on. You know, there are women that are in her group that says, yes, I agree with you. This is what it is. And this is the scary part about it. Just like you said, MSNBC and those types of media organizations, they continue to push this type of talk. They were just on The View. The ladies on The View, they're still calling President Trump an autocrat and dictator and all of these lies. And so my question is, are they lying, or do they really believe it?
No, they're not. What they are saying is not true. However, they do believe it, which in a sense means that they're not lying in the real sense of the word. They actually believe what they're saying. So this is why I say this is psychosis. This is literally a psychotic break with reality. And you're right. Now, MSNBC, ABC, they've propped them up for years. Yeah. I mean, they paid them millions of dollars. You're talking about the EAP. Their EAP plan could probably be, you know, the number one health plan. I mean, it probably put all health plans to sleep. But now you think about it, MSNBC is falling apart. Trump won. Okay. They have to live in the real world. Thanksgiving and the holidays are coming. They literally don't know what to do. They are having a psychotic break. I seriously hope that they get a 3-day EP evaluation somewhere. Seriously, because I really think that they are going to kirk out.
Yeah, it's getting kind of scary. And you know, when they talk about dictator, fascism, our system doesn't even have a path to that. Okay. So it's like they don't understand or are ignoring the way our system of checks and balances is set up. They obviously think, a lot of people make this mistake, but they're really making it. The three branches are co-equal in their power. The reason people think that the president is all powerful is because all of the power in the executive branch is embodied in one individual. The power in the legislative branch is embodied in close 500 individuals, and the 9 over in the judicial. So they can't grasp this very important concept. And so they run with misinformation like fascism and dictator. And they're supposed to be the authoritative sources.
Yeah, these people are unhinged. They're unhinged, as you both have mentioned. And it's not just to them. It's not only them. You know, it's this kind of emotional, unhinged thing that's going around throughout all of these types of people. For instance, not sure if you guys know, but the movie Wicked, or musical, I should say, is coming out. And they've been doing press. I think it was the 2 ladies that played the 2 title roles. Ariana Grande is playing Glenda the Good Witch. And Enviro, I believe, I can't remember her first, Cynthia Enviro, who is a musical, she's a Broadway star, is playing a FIFO, with the bad witch, Wicked Witch of the West. And just in these interviews, it's kind of that same thing where they're kind of like crying and emotional, and it's really weird. Take a look. We have a clip of this.
I was like, do we have a clip?
Wait, like, feeling really beautiful. It's just, you f***ing are. Yeah. Holy shit.
I mean, God,
You know?
Yeah. I know you've been asked about how you've changed each other's lives, but I also want to ask you how your characters have.
Oops, we lost it.
I knew that vulnerability was one of my strong suits, but I just didn't. I didn't get to show it as much. I didn't get to share it as much. Why am I feeling emotional about that?
Because it's true.
So playing Alphabet has given me the chance to like put that on the outside. I think people often assume that I'm like strong. I think people assume that that my feelings aren't at the surface. And I think Alphabet's allowed me to really show that I'm a person and I feel and I have feelings and I can share them.
And if you need to cry right now, you cry.
Yeah. And someone said to me once that the green was the thing that I would love the most about Alphabet, that I would want to stay green. But actually, being green, yes, I loved playing this character. But every time I took the makeup off, I like loved who I was even more.
That's not makeup. That's
yeah, but she was green. She took.
No, I'm talking about what she got on now. That's not makeup. Lord have mercy.
Right.
You would think.
Am I the only one that thinks this just weird?
No. You would think they are so delusional and self-important. You would literally think they just got back from Mars, and while they were up there, they cured cancer. Okay, you're making a movie. Right. It's a movie. Nobody.
Yeah, this is the this reminded they are so not in tune in the real world that they don't know the difference between art and real life. Is it art imitating life or life imitating art? That's number one. Number two, and I'm not saying this. I am not saying this to offend that woman. I can't pronounce her name, the black lady. I can't.
Yeah,
but she looks as if she's still in character form. I mean, all of the hooks and whatever. And again, I'm not saying that to just mock her. I'm saying that my point is like it's almost as if they don't know the break between art and real life. So they're always in character mode. This is life for them. Not only that, the symbolism. The Wicked, whatever. The symbolism to me, I love The Wiz. The Wiz is one of my favorite plays. Okay, you got The Wiz, the bad witch, good witch. I get it, but the symbolism is that the black lady is the bad witch. The white lady is the good witch. And this white lady, now she has to be, oh, you're okay. You aren't you beautiful? Almost patronizing.
Yeah.
And I mean, these people, and then they what do you call consume? They consume all of these images, and they really don't know real life from art.
Yeah. It's very strange. It's very strange. Even the whole, they're not in costume or not supposed to be in costume while doing interviews for this film. And again, as you mentioned, she's shaved her head. She didn't used to look like that. She shaved her head completely bald, including her eyebrows. It's just the only word I can think of is demonic. They look weird. They look demonic.
The dagger fingernail thing, which I've never been able to understand. No guy has ever sat around and said, you know what? I really like her. If only her eyelashes were an inch longer and her nails were like eagle's talons, maybe we could have made something happen. It's just like this weird, it's like with the glasses, with a lot of the liberals, it's like this kind of uniform thing. And it's really off-putting.
Yeah, it's very
strange.
And
the thing is that they don't know that it is. I mean, because they live in this make-believe world in their own mind. Again, they can't separate real life and art. They don't know where one ends and where one begins.
You're right.
So in their own mind, they are always, this patriot. Oh, you're okay. She's beautiful. Like they need this constant reaffirmation, and that's what you do when you're acting. And real life doesn't work like that.
Yeah. And they've really, if you guys have looked into this, I mean, they have really just gone crazy over this new Wicked film. It's called Wicked. And they've pushed a lot of queer, LGBT themes all throughout this. They've done interviews. I think the lady Cynthia, she's gay, and so they've kind of pushed this whole theme throughout. So again, we have that, and they've kind of just ran with this. This is like their thing, you know, right now with this movie. It's just bizarre. It's just bizarre. So I wanted to kind of show, just to kind of show that compared to what we are seeing with Joy Reid, Jeffrey Marsh. It's just, I guess, like you say all the time, Shelley, this is their religion. This is their religion. And they're going to be emotional. They're going to be, they I guess, take you to some spiritual plane. And this is what they're doing. So I definitely would not encourage anybody to see that movie. No. Don't watch it. Don't take your kids to watch it. Because it's just weird. It's just very weird. And wicked is the right term for the movie. Unfortunately, it is. Definitely, you guys keep hitting the like button. We want to get those likes up on this broadcast. Hit the like button. Also, I'm seeing your comments here. Let me go ahead and shout you guys out. See, this chat is going crazy with comments regarding this. And we have some super chats. So let's see here. All right, with our super chats. Ren with the $5 super chat says, so strangers that they all have names like Joy, Sunny, Whoopi. Yeah, yet they're all so miserable and negative. I know. LAPD SWAT with a $5 super chat says, what's even scarier is there are people in the current administration that think like her, only have access to nukes. Exactly. These people are nuts. They're crazy. They're crazy. I want to hear from you guys. You know, are there anyone out there that's planning on taking your children, or you guys going to see Wicked? Is there something we're missing regarding this interview? You know, definitely put it in the chat. All right. So want to keep it going here. Want to talk about something that's actually really important. And this is Laken Riley's case. So you guys know we have been talking about Laken Riley for many months now. She is the Georgia nursing student who was brutally murdered. And her, the accused murderer was convicted, was a Venezuelan man convicted of killing her. Georgia student Laken Riley has been sentenced to life in prison. He was sentenced without the possibility of parole in a case that became a flashpoint in the national debate over immigration. This is according to the New York Post. Take a look at this clip, folks. This is Laken Riley's stepdad reading one of her final journal entries where she prays for her future husband and family. Take a look. This is clip 10.
I'm so proud of Laken and the beautiful person she was. Well, I could stand here and try to tell the world the things that made her such a wonderful person, as well as the many things we have all been robbed and deprived of. I think one of her last journal entries dated 12/17/23 says it best. So here we go. To my future husband. As silly as I feel writing this, my old small group leader once recommended it, so here I am. To my future husband, I want you to know that I'm thinking about you. I'm working every day to become the best wife I can be. By working through my current relationships to best prepare me for ours and our kids one day. I'm focusing on God and what He defines as a faithful Christian life, and so that I can best embody those characteristics. I pray that you know that it is with my full faith and trust in God that I know this relationship has been handcrafted by Him. I pray that we continue to glorify the Lord, prioritize Him in every aspect of our lives, and raise our family, our future family, to be God-fearing Christians as well. I pray God is the center of our relationship as it is a gift from Him. I thank Him for you, before I even know you. And can't wait to love you in the best way I know how for the rest of our lives. I pray you know and feel the importance of my love and hopes for our relationship. No matter what challenges we face, I pray that our trust in God and love for one another overrules the obstacle. May our relationship last forever. Your future wife, Laken. That, Your Honor, was our beautiful Laken. That, Your Honor, is just a glimpse of what was tragically and brutally taken from her and us that day.
Wow. That, folks, that was hard, but in our hearts and prayers go out to her family, praying that the Holy Spirit be a comfort to them, especially as we go into the holiday and things like that. But we need to continue to spread this word, because this heartbreaking, tragic incident is the reality of an open border. This is what it is. This is what it is. And we have been sounding the alarm. Many of us have sounded the alarm time and time again about what is transpiring at our southern border. How many people have died from fentanyl overdose? How many baby kids, young girls have been trafficked over that border? This is what it is. We have to continue to sound the alarm, because these people want us to forget. They want us to be quiet about this. They don't want us talking about it. They don't want us sharing that video. We need to share it. We need to share it and shame them for what they did. This poor young girl lost her life. What we know that, and based off of what she said, she was a believer, and we pray that her soul is in heaven right now. And that, again, God's Holy Spirit be a comfort to her family as they mourn and grieve her loss. But this is terrible. This is terrible. Shelley, what are your thoughts on that?
I pray for those things too, for her family to be comforted, that her soul is at peace. But I'm angry. I'm angry. I'm angry at the administrators or bureaucrats who have allowed our country to be overrun by illegals. I'm angry that Laken Riley and others, Jocelyn Ingray, other people, Rachel Morin here in Maryland, have literally had their lives beaten out of them, choked out of them, raped out of them. I'm not calling this just her life was taken. No, she was brutally murdered by a piece of shit, because I try my best not to say their names, because these people are less than human to me. There's no redeeming grace. I know I'm not God. Maybe that's God. I'm like you, Tyrone. There's some things that only God is going to be able to tell me and deal with me on when I see him face to face. And this is one of them. I'm not moving. I can't forgive, or I won't forgive. I'm not saying that her family has or should. That's totally up to them. My heart goes out to them, but I'm angry. I'm angry that as a country, we literally pay, our taxes are literally paying people to keep our borders open. And they get the titles, they get the prestige, they get all of the benefits at our expense, when we have our young people, young and old, if you will, being slaughtered like animals on our streets. Our streets are bloody, because from my perspective, my never to be humble opinion, because many of our bureaucrats who claim that they know best are really putting us in danger. And we have many people, American people, to prove it, because they're in their grave.
No doubt. I think that Trump has got to come in day one and start with the mass deportations, especially of the criminal element. We know who Trende Aragua, we know who they are. get them out of here ASAP, no matter what we have to do. Put them on airplanes. And look, this is the United States of America. Venezuela, you're getting these people back, whether you like it or not. And we will be damned if you will tell us that you're not taking back your trash. All right. And I mean that, because people that are coming up here like this assailant doing this type of stuff, I wonder how many people he victimized on his way up here also. Okay. So when you hear Brandon Johnson in Chicago, Brandon Scott in Baltimore, Kathy Hochul in New York come out in defense of criminal migrants and resist Trump's efforts at deporting these criminals, understand that they are then part and parcel. They are complicit accessories to all of these crimes that take place. They do not care about anyone other than themselves and their ambition. You just saw one of the Manhattan assistant district attorneys get victimized by a migrant. All right. Somebody from Alvin Bragg's office.
Right.
So day one, these people need to go. All right. And they're criminals. Okay. Again, we know who Trinde Aragua is. We need to send the National Guard over to that apartment complex in Colorado. And we need to come out of there with a fuck due process. Okay. You're here illegally.
Right.
Goodbye.
Yeah. And we're talking about the ones who enter via the border, but over 1 million migrants have entered the country through Biden-Harris's controversial asylum program. And that million is not counted in the illegal border crossings. They have been letting over 1 million migrants in through this asylum program. What was it, CBP or CBP-1 program. So that's not even counting them. Folks, this is dangerous. And guess what? We have not even begun to see the effects of these policies. We haven't begun. We unfortunately will feel the effects of this for years to come, because there's cells here just lying in wait, waiting to get the command to do something crazy in the country. This is what it is.
Right. Let's not forget the 16,000 criminal murderers and rapists that they have roaming already, because they've been let go, catch and release, or whatever the term is. They're here now too.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Venezuela, they did like Castro did when he emptied his prisons. Venezuela did the same thing, and they sent them up here, because remember, those countries between here and Venezuela, they're not having that. Okay. Right. People start disappearing. All right. But they can come up here and wreak havoc, and that's got to stop.
Yeah. They're sick. It's sick. And then you have, as you mentioned, Shelley, we have bureaucrats who are vehemently standing against these massive deportations. They're not even hiding. They're saying that they will use their power, whether they're mayors, whether they're governors, to not allow any of these deportations to go in effect. Take a look here, right here in Maryland. We have Democrats saying that they will not allow mass deportations in their municipalities. This is clip 2.
In many regards, this election cycle did not go as I had hoped.
Frederick Mayor Michael O'Connor, the latest local official, publicly condemning Trump's policies and taking aim at his plans for mass deportation.
I want to make clear to our immigrant community that we will use any and all avenues to ensure you are safe in Frederick.
O'Connor banning any cooperation with federal immigration agents and proposing the creation of a legal advocacy fund, which would use tax dollars to pay undocumented immigrants attorneys' fees.
Ensuring they have the legal support they need to stand strong and remain in this community they have chosen to call home.
This week, Anne Arundel County Executive Stuart Pittman voicing similar concerns.
We will do everything that we can to make sure that people have legal representation and that people have services. And if people are deported, we will be having to provide services to the families when the breadwinner leaves.
Along with Mayor Brandon Scott.
We know that we are looking at challenges.
Wow. And mind you, they are bending over backwards for non-citizens. Brandon Scott, you drive past the homeless encampment down there at the foot of 83 on a regular basis, and they're Americans. And you have not done half. Well, you cleared them out several times when dignitaries were coming to the city, just like Gavin Newsom did when she came over there. But here's what really needs to happen. And under President Keys, this is what would happen. Maryland would not get one thin dime of federal funding until they got in line.
Exactly.
Okay. And if they're comfortable not having any federal funding for the next 4 years, then what are you going to do? Not give me your electoral votes? You know what I mean?
Shirley, I mean, these people, these elected officials take an oath to uphold the law. Here they are sitting there saying that they're going to go against it. They're not going to uphold the law. How is this even the case?
Because they have been getting away with it for so long. You got, let's go, Denver. You got Brandon Scott, Stuart Pittman. That's 3 here in Maryland. And the Frederick mayor. Who else did I write down? I wrote down Pritzker in Illinois. You got all of these people all across the country. Not only that, remember, they have a lot of Soros-funded prosecutors in place that are on their sides. So now we're going to have this battle between, we have to pay the taxes that they're going to use, again, another way against us to keep illegals here, to get the benefits, if you will, whatever, housing, food stamps that we pay for. And then they have the audacity to call us irredeemable and deplorable and all kinds of names because we want to maintain and uphold our Constitution. These people don't give a damn about America, Americans, nor our Constitution, whether that's state, local, or federal. They don't care. All they want is whatever is going to keep them in power. And if that's illegals and they think they can kowtow to them, that's what they're going to do.
Yeah. And you know, we as conservatives, we need to start pushing back very hard and in a similar way to the rhetoric that comes out of the left. That guy up in Frederick, he hates women and girls. It's clear because he wants to maintain a system that puts women and girls in danger when they cross the border. Okay, he is a misogynist, one that is predilected toward violence toward women and girls. He hates Americans.
Oh, yeah.
Brandon Scott hates homeless Black Americans and will use taxpayer money not to help them, but to help people that are non-citizens. Let's just tell the absolute unvarnished truth about who these people are. Keep repeating it, okay, until the people start to understand the evil, vile, power-hungry types of individuals that are occupying these offices.
Absolutely. And I think someone I saw in the chat said, what's going on here? Is this about votes? Just as you just said, Tyrone, from Soldiers of Finance on YouTube, this is evil. It is a spiritual warfare that's going on here because it's the spirit of Antichrist. It's a spirit of chaos. These people they want chaos in the country. They want us divided. So this is why they continue to push this DEI, the racial divide. They want us divided. They want you saw the videos that we showed. They don't want us, our families united. They want us divided by family due to politics, all because it is a spirit of Antichrist. It is a spirit of chaos. They want the country divided in order to tear it all down and then put up a new world order where they will be at the head and everyone will bow down to them because we will be in fear of a chaotic country. This is what it is, folks. This is what it is. Call it for what it is. And we need to stay vigilant.
You have our governor Wes Moore, and I think Brandon Scott said something similar, and maybe another mayor out west. They are going to be protecting Marylanders from this new administration. Protecting us from what? Which Maryland? What does that mean? They're using this rhetoric to gin up the fear, right? To gin up the confusion, to have people really afraid, if you will, that Trump is going to do I don't know what, except put things right, like get illegals out of our country. Where they don't, the illegals that are causing havoc, even just illegal. I don't care if you have been here 10 years. You like Mr. Holman said, families can be deported together.
Absolutely. And here it is, right here in Baltimore. Here's clip 3, where the ICE, which is Immigration and Customs Enforcement, is talking about the record-breaking sex offenders that they have caught that are here illegally. This is clip 3.
For ICE's Baltimore field office, this arrest is just one of 175 sex offenders captured this fiscal year. It's a record-breaking number, trampling their previous high of 152 arrests in 2023, despite being the smallest of 25 field offices nationwide, serving just the state of Maryland.
A lot of that is due to the cooperation that we have with Montgomery County, Anne Arundel County, Baltimore County.
Looking back, Maryland's ICE Director Matthew Elliston attributing much of the success to repairing relationships with once strict sanctuary jurisdictions, amends made by emphasizing ICE's targeted enforcement strategies, only allowing for the arrest of accused and convicted criminals.
Instead of us, chasing people around the state, they're now transferring those sex offenders directly to us in jail, which makes the whole process much safer for the community.
Wow. That's crazy. This is the people that you have, as you guys mentioned, Mayor Brandon Scott of Baltimore protecting, the Denver mayor protecting, you had the governor in Arizona protecting. These are the people that they are trying to stop ICE from taking, illegals.
Right. Don't forget Kathy Hochul up in New York.
In New York.
The woman that doesn't believe black people know what a computer is. Don't forget her.
Oh, yeah. Oh, they have it going on in New York, too. This is clip 8. Take a look at this.
Have no fingerprints on file for them. We have no photographs on file for them. We have no prior criminal history on them. They swap out their IDs. We have no way of tracking or knowing who they are when they enter the country.
The NYPD's chief of detectives says undocumented criminals as young as 11 years old are carrying out retail robberies and committing crimes on scooters, snatching people's jewelry, watches, and cell phones at gunpoint and knife point. Over 300 incidents last year, more than 800 so far this year. They've brazenly shot at police officers too.
When we do make arrests and we're able to charge them on 4, 5, 6 incidents, when they go before a judge in New York City and their arrest record is run, they show no prior criminal history. They're released on their own recognizance, they're not offered bail, and they're released back into the public.
Some migrant mothers we spoke to say they fear their boys will be forced into the world of crime.
People have warned us to be careful with the child because they are recruiting younger children. It worries me a lot.
Arada Piera and her 11-year-old son Dylan live in a Manhattan migrant shelter. They arrived from Colombia last.
Wow. This is, but see, then the Democrats like Jen Psaki and the rest of them, they said that we were making this stuff up. That, if there's no issue with migrant crime and things like, you saw what the report said, went from 300 types of these to 800.
Right.
Shelley, what are your thoughts? Oh, Tyrone. Okay, go ahead.
No, I was just going to real quick. Shooting at police, okay? If they shoot at a cop, they'll shoot at you, no problem. But in their country, there's some immediate consequences for showing violence to a cop, all right? Immediate consequences. And it has nothing to do with racism because they all are the same ethnicity down in Venezuela. So they don't respect how we get down up here. and they see it as fertile ground. If you're criminally minded, oh, this is Disneyland.
Yeah. I was gonna say, just as an aside, Pritzker, again, the governor of Illinois, he's talking about he's going to protect and do everything he can to stop these people from being deported. Just as an aside, look up the Pritzker family and their ties, if you will, to the transgender movement or gender affirmation of children. Look at these different, I don't know what you call tentacles that they're all aligned in, and how these things overlap to bring chaos and to bring confusion to children, to our country. These people are, like I think someone said in the chat, they're vile. They want our country overturned. They don't want it to be the America that we know it to be, that we know what it stands for. They don't want that. They really believe that. This is why I also say this is their religion, because like many people in a religion, you have a purpose, a mission. This is their mission, to overturn and overthrow really the United States of America. Barack Obama, we are 5 days away from fundamentally transforming the United States of America. And again, this is what they're doing.
Absolutely. I want to acknowledge our super chatters here. Folks, thank you so much. We got to continue to spread the word. Thank you. And your super chats do help us push the truth out there, because the mainstream media is not doing it. We have Nathan with the $20 super chat. Says, what legal course does Trump have over sanctioned cities in deportation of illegal aliens? Well, a couple things. One, as you mentioned, Tyrone, he can stop funding to these sanctuary cities, these sanctuary states. Stop the federal funding, because as Tom Holman mentioned, it is a federal fine to stop or block the deportation matters. So that's one thing. And then I think they should be locked up. I really do. I think they should be locked up. That's LAPD SWAT with the $5 super chat says, do you think the posse of
comitatus
is our act of 1878 needs to be amended?
I don't believe so. I think that when we talk about the military getting involved in this immigration issue, we're talking about the National Guard. We're not talking door to door. We're talking about them helping to facilitate exit at the border. Okay, so getting these people down there and then facilitating their exit out of here and preventing people from coming in. So it's not like we would need to mobilize. The networks are trying to make it seem like we're going to mobilize the Marines to hit the streets in some militarized like Kathy Hochul, the Democrat in New York, did in the New York subway. Right. She mobilized the National Guard, had them carrying M4 rifles, of all things, in the subway, to deter crime. We're not talking about that when we look at what Trump wants to do when he says mobilize the military to help with the deportations.
Exactly. Yeah. This is what I would say to that. I, Shelley E., and any and every other official bureaucrat do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. That's what needs to be done.
Yeah. If you guys know what Shelley's saying, hit the like button. If you agree that something needs to be done with these illegals that are committing crime, that we need to follow the law. If you are the type of person that agrees that the law needs to be followed, hit the like button, please, because many of these Democrat leaders across the country do not. And we know this to be the case. We saw anytime they didn't agree with some type of law or, a verdict came down, they tore up cities all across the country. So they don't care. They don't believe in law and order. But folks, for you guys who don't live in these cities, these sanctuary cities, please don't let that make you think you're safe. Because as soon as they finish over here, they're coming to the rural areas.
They started, yeah.
Right. So you got to stop them where they are. We can't just ignore it. We can't turn a blind eye and say, oh, well, they can tear up Baltimore. They can tear up Denver. You know, I'm out here in the rural areas. No, because if they're left to their own devices, they spread like roaches out to the other areas. And before you know it, they'll be in Kansas. Okay. So take it for what you, and here they are in Denver. This is clip number 7.
About civil disobedience. You've mentioned that a couple of times now. Would you be willing to participate in those as the mayor of Denver? Would you be willing to go out and protest these things?
I would. If I believe that our residents are having their rights violated, if I think things are happening that are illegal or immoral or un-American in our city, I would certainly protest it. And I would expect other residents would do the same.
Trump's new border czar, Tom Homan, has said that he is willing to arrest leaders like yourself for standing in the way of these policies that they want to enact. Would you be willing to go to jail for these things?
Yeah, I'm not afraid of that. And I'm also not seeking that. I think the goal is we want to be able to negotiate with reasonable people how to solve hard problems. Republican and Democratic presidents in the past have all tried to find solutions to these problems. President Reagan helped people get access to work so they could stay and support themselves. Biden and Harris worked on restricting entry at the border to close down. There are a lot of ways to approach this problem. We don't think it has to come to this. But yeah, I think when you look at, Ralph Carr has always been one of my heroes. He was the governor who in the middle of the internment of Japanese Americans said this was the wrong thing to do. And he stood up. It was unpopular. People were mad at him about it. That was in the middle of a wartime. If the president or any of his actors are going to do things that we think are illegal or immoral or un-American, we'll stand up against those.
Wow. Japanese Americans. They were citizens. It's not the same thing. And if he want to go to jail, I'd take him down Central Booking on a Friday afternoon. You ain't getting out until Tuesday. I bet you change your tune once that bail commissioner came and see you on Tuesday morning.
Yeah. And that was the Denver mayor. Meanwhile, a Venezuelan national who has been living in the United States illegally was accused of raping his boss's 14-year-old daughter while living in their home. Department of Homeland Security sources told the New York Post that Jesus Alberto Pereira Castillo, 20, was arrested in Denver on Tuesday after nearly 3 months on the run following the alleged sexual assault. Reportedly, the illegal alien said that he was headed for Orlando, Florida, after he crossed the border unlawfully in El Paso, Texas in September 2023. Per usual, he was released by Border Patrol into the States. Castillo ended up in Colorado, where he was arrested in May for allegedly possessing tools for forgery, counterfeiting, and larceny, sources told the Post. Then, following the sexual assault, ICE lodged a detainer for Castillo's arrest. Now he is in the custody of Jefferson County Sheriff's Office. Guys, this is crazy. This is madness. These people will not enforce the laws.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And they're doing the same thing. What was that, New York, when he said they're basically cycling through? Well, these Soros prosecutors, these things have layers to them. They don't just happen, the mayors are protecting them. They don't just come across the border. They get here and they do find sanctuary. They find sanctuary in the cities, in our courts. You have a lot of judges and these, bleeding heart, so to speak, people, they want to pacify them. They send them through the cycling doors or the doors back and forth. And just like they do criminals in here for Americans, these people are causing havoc. I just wanted to make this point. Back to Maryland, our former governor, Martin O'Malley, I think he was one of the first people, he called them new Americans. Then they go through an iteration, they're just undocumented. And now they're migrants or, whatever other name you want to call them. Nobody wants to call them illegal aliens, which is what they are. And they need to be deported.
Yeah. And guess what? I mentioned earlier about how this is happening in the cities across the country, but if you're in a rural area or somewhere outside of the city, don't be too comfortable. Right. And I think people in Illinois and California are seeing this now. We're hearing news reports that they want to draft up some type of succession from those states. areas in California and in Illinois see what's happening in Los Angeles and in Chicago, and are saying, we want to get the hell out of here. Have you guys heard about that?
I hadn't
People
heard
in
about
Texas have
that,
been
but
saying that for some people in Texas have been saying that for a while.
yeah,
Yeah.
I wouldn't blame them, certainly.
Yeah.
I
Right.
certainly wouldn't blame them.
Yeah. I do want to acknowledge our super chatters here, guys. Thank you so much. Certainly appreciate you all. We are all in this together. We got to continue to fight, as President Trump said, that day out in Pennsylvania. We have to continue to fight and stand up against this. Teresa Raimundo with the $10 super chat says, I genuinely love you all. Your content is refreshing and direct. Much love to all of you. Keep speaking the truth. Thank you, Teresa. Thank you. Gimpy, thank you with your $2 super chat. All right. Thank you all so much. We certainly appreciate you. All right. I thought I had another one here. I guess that was it. Okay. Yes. Thank you guys so much. Keep the super chats coming, and your thoughts, when you put the super chats out, we're able to read them and definitely include you as sort of like a fourth host here. So thank you so much. So I want to move on, change topics a little bit. This is maybe a little controversial, and I want to get you all's opinion on this. Nancy Mace's bathroom bill. So not sure if you guys have been following it. Representative Nancy Mace introduced a bill to require House members and staff to use bathrooms that match their biological sex. Why did she do this? Well, earlier this month, Delaware voters elected Sarah McBride to serve on the House of Representatives. Sarah was born Tim, is a biological man who identifies as transgender. So they saw this and wanted to put forth a bill saying that or a rule. I think it went from a bill to a rule within the House or within Congress saying that you must use your biological sex assigned bathroom. Here's a clip of it, Nancy talking about it. Take a look, clip 4.
Comcast.
Oops, we have it there. Let's see. Oh, we may not have that one handy.
Congressman Mace, thank you very much for joining us. I want to dive right in. I saw an article on your website from 2021 where you talked about your support for the Fairness for All Act, which was a GOP alternative to the Democrats' Equality Act. You said at the time, quote, I have friends and family that identify as LGBTQ. Understanding how they feel and how they've been treated is important. Having been around gay, lesbian, and transgender people has informed my opinion over my lifetime. Congressman, what do your LGBTQ friends and family think of what you're asking for now?
They're very supportive. In fact, I heard from a lesbian couple, actually 2 last night, about the bathroom bill, encouraging me to fight for women's rights. And I'm glad that you brought this up. I'm very socially sensible. I voted for gay marriage not once, but twice. I don't believe the government should tell you who to love or who to marry or divorce. And I've supported LGBTQ rights for years now. But I draw, as a woman, as a survivor of rape, as someone who I have PTSD from the sexual abuse I have suffered at the hands of a man. We have to, as women, draw a line in the sand, a big, fat, red line about our rights. And the basic question today is, do women have rights or do we not? And I will tell you, just the idea of a man in a locker room watching me change clothes after a workout is a huge trigger. And it's not okay to force women to be vulnerable in private spaces. In the mainstream media, you want to call McBride a trans woman. Trans women are men. Like, follow the science. This is a biological male. His penis should not be in the bathroom stall next to me. He should not be in the locker room watching me change.
All right. Shelley, I want to get your thoughts on this. Do you agree with her? Was she being discriminatory?
Was Nancy Mace being discriminatory?
Yes.
Oh, absolutely. And there's a place for discrimination. When a guy has a penis and a girl has a vagina, you discriminate. You have 2 different bathrooms. So hey, there is a place for discrimination sometimes. And then, so yes, she is, and I applaud it. That's just it. Biology discriminates. So that's already a given.
Yeah, you're right. Tyrone, what are your thoughts?
I could not agree more. I could not agree more. And I feel bad for what Mace has experienced that she articulated, but we don't even need to qualify. Okay. Listen, you have male plumbing. And by the way, whether you want to believe it or not, you also have male chromosomes. You're a man. All right. Now you could dress up, change your name, do whatever you want to do. But when it comes to you going into a bathroom and whipping something out, that's done in the men's bathroom. Okay. Now, because I'm noticing this trans thing, a lot of people say, oh yeah, she's trans, but she hasn't completed the surgery. Well, hey, maybe we'll revisit this when you get brave enough to cut it off. Okay. But to the extent that you got that, all right, you belong in the men's bathroom. And it is discriminatory. We're adults. We're not children. Get over it. And also, do not, now you can believe whatever you want to believe about yourself. Fine. But once you start obligating me to play a part in your delusion, no, you crossed the line. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing it.
Yeah, Megyn Kelly has done a lot of reporting on this phenomena. And she talks about how many of these people, it's a fetish. They get off by wearing, opposite sex, the women's clothing. And it, specifically with the swimmer, the trans swimmer, was one of them, where they did do some investigating and found that he was watching sites where men were dressing up like women and things like that. So it's very uncomfortable to realize that a lot of these people are dealing with that. So this is why they're doing it. They're in there getting off while they're seeing women naked and they're dressed up as a woman. Yeah. So it's really odd. It's just a very weird world we're in right now.
I mean, cross-dressers have been around since time began, okay? Men wearing makeup and costumes, things like that. I mean, that has been around, these paraphilias, if you will. I know you're talking about Megyn Kelly's done a lot, talking about the autogynephilia, where these men, they get off watching women while they pretend to be women. It's so that it's basically so that they can get close enough, in a sense, to watch. And that's how they get their jollies off. Okay. But fine. You can watch from afar, so to speak, like most men do. They watch women as they go by. Okay. That's what most normal men do. Women go by, they look, or whatever. But you don't have to bring your dick. I'm sorry, Tyrone. You don't have to pretend. You're not going to pretend to be in the same bathroom. Dicks pretending to be chicks. You don't belong there in the female's bathroom. You have one bathroom. Hell, some places even have unisex with one commode in there. Go in there, lock the door, do your business. Wash your hands, come out, and let somebody else go in. I mean, it's that simple.
Yeah. And one thing, though, that I have to say is different now is I know we've had these types of things, for a long time, but we never codified it as a normal thing. I mean, now they are trying to make us feel like we are weird for being uncomfortable when these things happen. Now all this stuff is not only being pushed in Congress, but it's being pushed in the classroom. And when I say classroom, I'm not even talking about college classrooms. I'm talking about elementary school classrooms. They're pushing this stuff there. It's become ridiculous. And so
it is.
Yeah.
It is. And people need to start pushing back. Again, you can, as long as you are not hurting anyone else, interfering with anyone's rights, and whatever you're engaging in is with another consenting adult, I don't need to hear about it. You're free to do that. Okay. You are also free to dress up as a woman and call yourself Shirley and come to the job just like a woman. I don't care. I don't need to, interact with you beyond work. But when it comes to those things that civilization has been built upon, modesty between a man and a woman, keeping women in certain places where they may be disrobing or, some such thing. away from men, I think that's absolutely not only appropriate, it's a sign of a civil society. Okay.
Right.
Look, you're not going to go because Saudi Arabia has very strict rules about men and women dining together. Okay.
I can tell you a story about that, but go ahead.
You're not going over there to Saudi Arabia trying to play this game. Okay. Well, you're going to have some problems.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. But like I said, I mean, it's not just left to the adults. Now they are trying to create an entire children. They're trying to generation, I should say, that are genderless. You know, they were on the news with this mother on there talking about how she's raising her child without gender. I mean, how are these people going to interact with our children? I believe we have the clip here where she's talking about, you know, raising this child with no gender. Take a look.
The gender reveal won't happen anytime soon.
We did not assign a sex at birth, which means when they were born, they had genitals and we know what they are. We just chose to acknowledge that those genitals don't indicate anything about gender.
Meet Sparrow, a smiling, curious, adorable 11-month-old baby.
Is this a baby?
Your next question might be, is Sparrow a boy or girl?
Can I see Elmo?
The answer,
Can I see Elmo?
to be determined.
My own mother did not know Sparrow's genitals for the first 3 months, even though she was living with us at the time.
You're doing so good. Sparrow's parents decided to raise their baby gender neutral,
for a second?
meaning Sparrow will decide.
And I want you guys to take notice here. This is and I don't want to, you can keep it up. I don't want to offend anyone, but we're seeing these people. They always got holes all over their body. She has a hole here in her face, above her cheek. She has the Minotaur ring. That's a very big sign. Of course, she had her ears pierced. No, we're telling where else she got them. But this is what we see with these types of people. I don't know why.
She looks like a version of Hitler. I thought she had a little mustache under her nose right there or something. I mean,
no, that's an earring.
I know. I'm just. This is.
But go on, keep going. Here we go.
Meaning Sparrow will decide gender when older. Even Sparrow's birth certificate says sex unknown. The gender reveal won't happen anytime soon.
We did not assign a sex at birth.
Wow. Yeah, that's first of all, medical malpractice from the standpoint of whatever doctor went along with that crap. And you know, when we were coming up, we were poor, but we had an idyllic childhood. I would not trade our childhood for the world. We were allowed to be children, okay? And my grandmother used to always say, because we would, you know, kids say, oh, I can't wait till I grow up. My grandmother used to say, well, just slow down. You're going to be grown a lot longer than you're going to be a child. Enjoy your childhood, okay? Why can't these people just allow these children to enjoy the brief amount of innocence that is their right? Why can't you just do that? Plenty of people been figuring out that they were gay, straight, whatever. Once they hit later stages, let it naturally occur. Why influence it? Why bog this child down with this type of baggage and burden?
Because they're narcissists. It's not the child choosing the gender, it's them. Generally, you have these people who are in the queer LGBT mafia agenda, whatever, and they will put on through this child whatever they want. Usually it's going to be whatever the opposite sex is. You know, this is what they do. These types of people, they don't care what the baby wants. They're going to put on what they want this child to be. And they're going to push on their mental break and mental health issues onto this child. This is what they're doing. Why? Why? Because they could bring it right back to what we started. Confusion. It is all confusion. What is confusion? It is the spirit of the Antichrist. It is not of God. And that is exactly what they're doing over there with their minotaur brains and the holes all through their face.
Sad.
It is. It's very sad.
It really is.
And not only that, but our children have to deal with this. Our next generation will have to deal with these nuts because that's what they're creating. They're creating nuts.
Well, yeah, they are. But if they get their way, there will be more of them than there will be of us. So we'll be, that's if they get their way. And if the media, a lot of people believe that leftists are the majority. No, we just had an election that showed you that. But they want us to believe that in this other world, whatever it is they want to call it again. But it's sad. It's
I do want to acknowledge our super chatters. Folks, thank you guys so much. Please hit that like button. Continue to hit the like button. I see we have over 300 people on here. Hopefully we have 300 likes. So please, Teresa Raymundo with the $5 super chat says, Fourth Estate is a dilapidated trailer park. Absolutely, Teresa. Totally agree with you there. All right. Well, hopefully, with Trump coming into the White House in January, hopefully we will see the country put back on the right track. I mean, a poll came out, I believe it was a CBS poll, says 57% of young voters have a favorable view of President Trump. Also, 57% support Trump's plan to deport all illegal aliens. And then 59% approve of Trump's handling of his transition team. We know they've gotten a lot in the press of his picks, his nominees recently. And I know one of the things he's set to do is to remove transgender troops out of the military. That's the final topic of the night. I want to get your thoughts on that. Shelley, what do you think about that? Is that something that he should do, or is it the right thing to do, or is he going too far?
Actually, you know what? I don't know. I didn't really hear that that's one of his plans, or at least not right away. But for the most part, if someone is doing their job in the military and if they are deplorable, then they can do their job. So again, they're not causing any kind of trouble, not getting, Article 15s, things like that in general. So I would have to look into a little bit more what the qualification is or whatever he's saying. Now, if he's talking about people in the military who want to be transgender, that they're not paying for it, or they have all these psychological problems, they can be medically discharged, I am for it.
Yeah, before I get you in on this, Tyrone, according to the New York Post, Trump plans to kick transgender troops out of the military with 15,000 service members to be medically discharged on his first day in office. Reportedly plans to issue an executive order to ban transgender members of the military. Controversial order would cause at least 15,000 active service members to be medically discharged. Accordingly, on the action is set to occur on January 20th, 2025, or day one of his term. Is this the right thing to do, Tyrone?
Hey, listen, military medical standards are pretty stringent. And to the extent, folk that are transitioning, that's a complicated series of not just surgeries, but other types of medical treatments, medication regimens. Okay. So look, doesn't sound like they are they're not fit. Okay. Based on the standards that all of the other men and women have to meet. All right. They were telling people they couldn't be in the military for color blindness, allergies to strawberries.
Really?
Okay. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So
there's a whole lot of medical reasons to be discharged.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you go in and you are transitioning and you require certain surgeries and all of this, come on, you're not deployable.
Right.
All right. So like I always say, if you're going to work at McDonald's, you got to be willing to fry some hamburgers. Okay. If you're going to work for the U.S. military, you got to be deployable. All right. In whatever MOS you have. Real quick, what's that woman's name? Lori Chavez. Is that Lori Chavez? Yeah. Lori Chavez, the rumor Deremer, is the new Trump labor
Oh,
secretary.
okay.
Now, she's getting a lot of heat because she's pro-union. But Trump does need to do something about wage increases. And I'm thinking that this might be kind of a way he gets into that. All right. Because inflation is never going to stop going up. All right. Even if you meet your 2.2%, it's still going up by 2.2%. Wages need to increase. That's what Trump needs to concentrate on. So Boeing and the longshoremen just got raises that put them above inflation. So I'm not sure what Trump is thinking there. But being a builder in New York, he's worked with unions. He had to have a good relationship with them to get those buildings up. So I just thought that was interesting.
Well, I mean, Tyrone, on your line of thinking, this might fit in a little bit too. I was reading something today about what is this, the Doge, Ramaswamy and Elon Musk. Well, their plan is to get a lot of federal workers off the federal system. You know, they got to go back to the office. That may make them want to resign, whatever. But there's a whole private market. We have 11 million jobs that need to be filled. So
yeah. A lot of people like doing those federal jobs though, because they've been there for years. Honestly, many of them don't have training to do anything else because they've been on this same job so long. Came in usually right out of college. And it's a big issue. It's a big issue for some of these people if they did want to go into the private sector, because unfortunately, in some of these federal jobs that are not so what do you call it?
Transferable?
Not transferable, but they aren't specialized. The ones that are not specialized, people are way behind on their skills.
So we should. I mean, that doesn't mean we have to subsidize it for life when it does us no good. I mean, when it does. I mean, there's a place for some federal jobs, state jobs. There's a place, but we are bloated. We are more bloated than a woman on her period.
Yeah, right. Especially in this corridor, DC, Maryland, Virginia corridor. You know, maybe a large reason why Northern Virginia has gotten so leftist, so blue. Is because many people that live there work for the federal government.
Absolutely.
Here, like you're right, Montgomery County, PG, all same thing. Yep.
Yeah. It's bloated with blue.
I think that, you know, two things that we should take a look at. I've been an advocate for this for a long time. Why is the Department of the Interior in the Metro DC area? Why can't that be out in Montana somewhere? Okay. Spread the wealth around. Okay.
Yes.
You know, and that will also, you know, you got Ferrari and Lamborghini dealerships in Northern Virginia. Why? Because it's Rome. All right. There's an outsized amount of money going through DC.
Absolutely. And it also makes it more efficient when you spread it out. You spread it out, you get a larger, variation of people that work these jobs, you know, depending on locations across the country. It provides just a different skill set sometimes. And for instance, in Iowa, you know, children can start to drive, I think at like 14. You can get your license. You know,
because they allow them to have farms out there and they know how to drive the track. Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. So again, you know, that's a skill set. That's something that's not really, you know, happening here in Maryland and so on and so forth. So spread the love. Spread the love.
That's what they like. They like doing that anyway. So yeah, why not?
Yeah, absolutely. All right, folks, we are at the end of our time tonight, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Final thoughts from you all. I'll start with you, Tyrone. What do you have coming up on Soldiers of Finance this week?
Well, we're examining the tragic story of a 2-year-old that made the trek up here from El Salvador by herself.
Wow. I heard that.
All right, so we're going to be taking a look at that tomorrow and everything that's involved in that.
All right. Yeah. Shelly, final thoughts for the audience.
I am looking forward to January the 20th at noon because I'm that 24-hour period after that oath is taken. I'm excited to see what's going to happen that first 24 hours and that first 100 days. So I'm looking forward.
Absolutely. Same here. Speaking of looking forward, we will be following this Daniel Penny case out of New York City. They are set to release. I think the jury is set to come back after Thanksgiving. Folks, if you are aware, this is the case that occurred on I believe it was the F train in New York City, where Daniel Penny wrestled down a homeless guy who apparently had schizophrenia, put him in a chokehold. He was apparently in the chokehold for, I think, 6 minutes, and he died. So he is on trial now for manslaughter. And we're going to be following the case to see if he's actually found guilty. So we will bring you that. We were supposed to come back. We'll be back before hopefully by the end of the week. We'll come back and see what's going on with that. Also, breaking news out today: Donald Trump Special Counsel Jack Smith has asked a judge to drop all charges in Donald Trump's election interference case. So citing the Justice Department policy that sitting presidents cannot be indicted or prosecuted. So that was out today. Breaking news, good news for us.
Put Jack back in the box.
Good news for the country. Good news for the country.
Good news for absolutely good news.
Jack goes back in his box.
Yes, indeed. And then finally, Vice President Kamala Harris is privately telling her aides and allies she is considering a political comeback in a gubernatorial bid or another presidential campaign in 2028.
I support that. Yes.
I'm going to change my mind. You know what I'm going to tell her? Fight. That's
Hey, look, we haven't had enough. You better thank a union member, okay? I want to hear it. She should bring it back. 2028.
That's
right. I support you, Kamala.
That's right. We'll see. I don't know. I'm always leery about these people. They are so tricky and so lying and conniving. She's one of those ones where she can change, change her spots and people forget all about all the nonsense we've been through. So I don't know. We'll see. But we will continue to follow these stories. Also, check out our other channels here. All right. We have All American Podcast, All American Talk Show here with us on YouTube. It's a Metro Conservative Media product. That's All American Talk Show. We have Just the Guys. They're on Thursday nights. And me, KJ Christian Conservative with KJ. I have another channel here. I'm actually going to put out some content this week, guys. I haven't put out something in a while. I'm talking about the Wicked, or I should say Wizard of Oz, and the occult behind it all. So check me out on Christian Conservative with KJ. If you're not subscribed, definitely subscribe. And we also have another super chat with PB Hardy with a $10 super chat. Says, good discussion as usual. Poppin' politics. Happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving,
everybody.
All right. That does it for us tonight, folks. Thank you guys so much for watching. Until next time, count your blessings and live a life of purpose. Good night.